A Bicyclette from the Sugarhouse.
Vanessa Van Zandt, VVZ, lived across the street from me. In the winter, VVZ and I would build snowmen down in Frog Hollow, and we'd go sledding on Logan's Hill with her little sister Priscilla and Turk Monahan and the other Pioneer Street kids. In spring, when the snow melted, we'd dig little canals in her driveway and float paper boats. And when fall came around, we'd build huge bonfires of orange and red maple leaves. Summers, we'd all ride bikes together, and VVZ allowed me to adjust the tension on her chain and oil her sprocket with 3-in-1 oil. I don't know why, but for me, the word sprocket has always been freighted with powerful erotic significance. Regardless of its actual meaning, sprocket sounds terribly sexual. Thus, on drowsy summer days when I worked on VVZ's bike with my wrenches and things, usually on her front porch while VVZ sat on the glider watching me, in her shorts and halter with her blonde hair and pigtails, or in a single fat braid, I would think, "Oh my God, I'm lubricating Vanessa Van Zandt's sprocket, and it's wonderful." Milk Bottle Jorgensen was a boy who lived on Fair Street, in back of us, next to the Fair Street Italians. Milk Bottle Jorgensen was reputed to have a secret masturbation grotto, a hideaway somewhere in the woods, where he'd half buried a glass milk bottle with the opening of the bottle at ground level, and the bottle was filled with warm water, and he used this rig to masturbate to his secret stash of posh girly magazines. I doubt very much that the story was true, but the poor guy took a lot of ragging. Everyone called him Milk Bottle, and there were endless discussions about the location of the secret hideaway, and if he ever emptied the milk bottle out, and even the conjecture that something might be growing in there, a woodland-sired fetus festering in a glass womb. One summer day I met VVZ and Priscilla in the old orchard behind the Catholic Church, and we started talking about the location of Milk Bottle Jorgensen's secret masturbation grotto. Priscilla thought it might be out on Beaver Meadow Road, but Vanessa thought it was closer, maybe in Clark's Woods. "Let's go take a look," I suggested. We got on our bikes and pedaled to Clark's Woods, only 15 minutes away. We walked our bikes across a little creek and threw them down on the grassy embankment. To get to the woods, we had to cross a fenced meadow, guarded by a single Black Angus steer. We climbed the fence, dropped down into the meadow, and stood there for a moment to see what the brute would do. He snorted and glared at us, pie-eyed with stupidity, yet bristling with dark, unutterable menace. Then he went back to grazing, all the while rippling his sleek black hide and switching flies with his tail. "Do you think he'll do anything?" VVZ ventured. "Like what? Like kill us?" "No, maybe. I don't know." We ran like hell for the opposite fence, climbed over and plunged into the trees. After we'd been walking for a while in the thick carpet of leaves, venturing deeper and deeper into the forest, we began to get a little apprehensive. There were supposed to be bears in Clark's Woods. We sat down to rest on a rotten log, and the girls plaited wildflowers in their hair. We were surrounded by leafy green ferns and magical toadstools, and the smell of moldering vegetation mixed with pine needles was intoxicating. You could hear the distant musical trickle of water, and then the 5 o'clock whistle blew down at the sawmill. "Do you think we're getting close?" "No, it's too scary here and too wet. Let's go on." We continued for about 15 minutes more until we came to another spot, on higher ground now, where tiny yellow oak leaves and hard, shiny acorns adorned the thick carpet of rotting vegetation. I was standing close to VVZ. She'd broken a sweat, and her upper lip glistened with drops of perspiration. After a moment, she threw her arm around me and poked her finger into the waistband of my shorts. I put my arm around VVZ's waist and around Priscilla's, and we all kissed. The three of us had suddenly realized that we were alone in the forest. "Could I see your tits?" I heard myself blurt. I don't know where I got the courage to say such a thing. It just came out of me unbidden. Both girls obligingly unfastened their halters and unveiled their boobs. Priscilla's titties were flat as pancakes, but VVZ's were softly rounded and topped with pretty pink nipples. "We want to see your wiener," Priscilla said solemnly, slipping her hand inside my shorts. I pulled off my T-shirt and dropped my shorts and underpants. After a moment, the three of us stood naked in the green grotto, our hands straying feverishly over each other's bodies. I thought we were going to get it on, but suddenly a giddy, playful mood came over us, uncontrollable, and we began to run, stark naked through the forest, laughing and shrieking at the top of our lungs. When we came to another fairy-like glen, we flung ourselves down, exhausted, sweating, on a soft carpet of fallen leaves, and fell fast asleep. "Oh, what time is it?" VVZ exclaimed suddenly. It had grown dark, I noticed. Just then we heard a deep-bellied grunt, not too distant. "That was a bear, oh Jesus! We'd better get started, let's go get our clothes." We jumped up and ran this way and that, trying to find our clothes, but it was impossible. And now it was really getting dark. Where had we left our bicycles? "Donnie, this is serious," VVZ said, jabbing with her finger. "We've got to get out of here. Just decide which way you think it is to our bikes. We'll head for it, and then we'll get home somehow. We can't spend the night in these woods." She looked so prim and proper standing there, VVZ, naked as a jaybird, with pink and blue wildflowers plaited in her hair, lecturing me, as if we were married. I felt awfully good. "You can do it, Donnie," Priscilla chimed in. "Just go for the place where you think the bikes are, and we'll follow." So I fixed in my feverish mind an image of our bikes thrown so carelessly on the grassy embankment of the meadow, and I said, "Feet, do your stuff." And we started out blindly in the deepening darkness of the forest. We marched for about a half an hour, and it became very dark, inky black, because we couldn't see the moon for the trees. It was starting to get cold. Do bears roam at night? I wasn't sure, but I knew I wanted to find our bikes. That was the image I had in my mind. So I marched, dead ahead, and the girls followed, not complaining at all. They believed in my power to get a fix on our bikes by intuitive or shamanistic means and get us to the spot. And sure enough, pretty soon I smelled cow shit, and then we came to the edge of the forest, and there was the meadow, and a great round moon was shining bright, and our bikes were nestled in the high grass on the sloping bank. "Thank God," Priscilla murmured, kissing me again and again. Well, now what do? We were all of us stark naked, and the moon was out. We had our bikes, and home was just a few miles distant, but how to get there? "Let's just do it," I said. "If we have to get off the road and go cross lots, we'll do that too. Ready?" We got on our bikes and started out. The road leading out of Clark's Woods was a rutted dirt goat path, and there was no traffic, although the full moon was frosting our naked bodies with silvery light. But when we turned off the dirt road onto the moonlit asphalt, it was a different story. Now there were cars, and headlights were veering toward us. And occasional people strolling on the sidewalk paused and gawked. "What shall we do?" "Fuck it, just keep going." Then we got off the highway and onto the village streets of Cooperstown, pedaling like 60, while the silvery moonlight made fantastic tracings on our bodies. When we got up by the Knox School, the fancy school for rich girls, a big contingent of quality folks were having a cocktail party outside on somebody's lawn. "What now?" "Vamoose, keep pedaling." We raced through like sprites. I saw some astonished looks. I know some of them made us. But now we were close to our own neighborhood. "What about Mrs. Iverson, that prune face? She's always looking out her front window. What if she sees us?" "We'll go back lots, come on." We turned off the street into the yards of the residential neighborhood, ripping through gardens and knocking down trellises, picket fences, clotheslines, anything in our frantic haste to get home. Finally, we arrived at the girls' house on Pioneer Street, right across the street from my house. Through the front window we could see Mr. and Mrs. Van Zandt, Vic and Mariah, slumped in their easy chairs, watching TV. We got off our bikes and tiptoed around to the backyard. We were naked as tulips, but by a great stroke of luck the girls' mom had done the laundry that day. We snatched some sheets off the clothesline and wrapped ourselves in them like Klansmen. I walked the girls to the back door and kissed them both good night. Priscilla tiptoed into the house, but VVZ lingered for a moment and playfully wrapped her sheet around the two of us. "Say, Donnie?" "Yes, Vanessa?" "My chain's getting loose again. Do you think you could fix it tomorrow and maybe oil my sprocket?"
This has been a Centaur Press production. Thank you for listening.